everybody. Welcome to Table Talk, a place for honest conversations and getting to meet friends. My name is Betsy Thompson, and I'm so excited to be here with Martin and getting to hang out with you. Thank you so much for coming to spend time.
Yeah.
It is going to be really fun, y'all. As you know, hopefully, in this season with Table Talk, we are talking to the members of our pastor search team, and Martin is on that team, so he's going to be here with us today. We're going to get to know him better. If it's your first time watching Table Talk, go back, catch those episodes, get to know the rest of the team. It's been really neat getting to meet all of the members. Y'all have a great team that y'all are getting to hang out with.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and it's been really interesting talking to the different members of the team. One thing I think all of them have said is that y'all are really getting to know each other and very purposely working towards unity on that team. And so I thank you for saying yes when they asked and putting in the time and energy to be a part of that team.
Yeah, we have some wonderful teachers on the team. You know, Adrian and Jenny are both. Nathan, who you'll interview, he's excellent. 24 years old. He's awesome.
He's great.
And others too.
Yeah.
Ron, I mean, I could go on and on about it.
It's a really neat group of people. And so I'm so glad everybody's getting to know them a little bit just through this, because they're just really great people. So, okay, Martin, tell us first, just introduce yourself, your family. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Martin Reim. I don't know. You want me to go back to salvation? Or?
Sure, love it.
Okay, so I grew up in a Christian home.
Did you grow up around here?
Yes. Yeah, I went to Zion Lutheran.
Okay.
And we had Bible study. We moved here in 1963, and every day we're having Bible study. I was 8 years old, and it touched me because Jesus was there, and I want to go to heaven.
Yeah.
And so I can remember actually tearing up in my room and saying, Lord, I accept you. But see, it's different in the Lutheran belief. We don't have an altar call, and it was just followed. For by grace you're saved through faith, Ephesians 2:8-9. And so anyway, I grew up in a Christian home, went through 8th grade there, and then went to South Houston High School. That's where I met Patty.
Okay. Your sweet wife.
And yes. Yeah.
She's just adorable.
Yeah, that's... next to my salvation, meeting Patty was probably the next best thing for me. And then we, after high school, we didn't connect much in high school. Then after high school, I was a beach bum. I stayed on the beach, and Patty happened to be down there one day. And so we just hit it off and started, we rode the bike next day, talked, and then we got married. Emery and Susan Gadd, love them to death, married us.
Really?
Yes, in 1974.
So how did you meet them?
Okay, going back to Patty, her mom and dad were very close with Emery and Susan.
Okay.
And when they came to Sagemont, they came from Freeway Manor. And, you've seen the movie, Jesus Revolution. Mm-hmm. Okay. They passed out tracts down at Allen's Landing. They did all that. And so they were a real close family. So I married into a wonderful family.
Wow, that's awesome.
My dad wasn't a hugger. And so when I met them, you hugged when you came in, and you hugged during the time, and then sometimes you hug when you left. So that was fun. That was different. I had to kind of learn to do that because, as a guy, you just, but anyway, I love to hug now.
It's a good thing to learn, yes.
Emery and Susan love them to death.
That's so neat.
Yeah, and so anyway, went through, we got married, and I worked several jobs, and then I got on and worked out of Shell.
Okay.
And I was out at Shell Deer Park for 42 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
And almost 42 years. And I had a wonderful career out there, retired in January of 2020.
Okay.
And so as far as going to church, we went to Zion Lutheran for a short period of time and felt that we didn't have couples our age. Mm-hmm. And we realized how important it is for young couples to be a part of Sagemont, especially now.
Yeah.
And so we went to Trinity Baptist, and that's where we met Denny Autry.
Okay.
And Denny was there, and we were there a few years, and then we moved our membership to Alta Vista Baptist. And so we were Alta Vista, and Denny was down in Galveston at the time. Mm-hmm. And our pastor came in and said, God's called me to Montana. It kind of blew us away. So I got on the pulpit committee there.
Wow.
And I said, I know a good pastor. Why don't y'all check him out? And so I told him to go down to Galveston. And so Denny came.
Wow.
And Denny was there till like 1989.
Okay.
And I was so excited when he and Angela came here to Sagemont. He's so knowledgeable, as you well know. Mm-hmm. And so we eventually, Misty and Atlanta loved the youth program at First Baptist.
Okay.
It was called Joy Explosion. Dana Matheson, who's with the Lord now, was a youth minister, and he was just exceptional. So we moved our membership over there, and this is where Atlanta met JP over there, and actually on a ski trip. She tore her ACL, and he came to her aid and was very kind and sweet to her.
Yes.
And she liked him quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so they got together and dated for quite a few years, and then they ended up getting married.
That's right. So
wonderful.
Lana Carter is your daughter.
That's right.
JP's her husband.
Right.
And then there's sweet kids, Reese and Blake.
Reese and Blake.
So everybody making connections, all the connections.
Yeah.
Amazing family. Yeah.
Yeah, Reese is going to A&M this next year. Blake will be a sophomore. She's at Deer Park. I mean, they're wonderful girls.
They are. Great girls.
So excited about what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Lana and JP, wonderful. They're hard workers. They work in the youth. They love each other. Example for a family. And then transition over to Misty and Chuck.
Yep. Williston. So
Williston
you know them.
crew.
Yes, they're fabulous too.
So anyway. Oldest granddaughter over there, she is up in College Station now, and she's teaching. That's Maddie. Maddie's 27.
Gosh.
And then Mason and Ashley are together, and they have a little boy. It's our great-grandson, Gunner, and they're expecting a little girl coming up. So I hope they watch this, so just let them know. And then you have Levi and Kate. Mm-hmm. Okay, Levi is 12. Will be 12 in November. And then Kate... Kate's 11. Yeah, well, she's a year behind him.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know their story.
Yes, I do.
Okay, it's pretty incredible.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So
great family. They're just, you are blessed with amazing kids and great grandkids, but wonderful grandkids.
Yep.
They're awesome. I love seeing them running around Sagemont.
Yeah, Misty's working.
Really cool.
We work with hang time.
Yes.
And then Chuck comes in. He's kind of a shift worker.
Yeah.
So they're all hard workers, and Misty's homeschooling.
Yeah.
So busy times.
Love it.
But I love them.
So they all grew up in Deer Park.
Well, Pasadena.
Okay, Pasadena.
They went to the Pasadena schools, graduated from Sam Rayburn. Okay. They're probably going to kill me for this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
I didn't make him. It's not me.
So when Misty was a senior, she was Miss Sam Rayburn. And when Lana was a senior, she was Miss Sam Rayburn. So anyway.
I'm not surprised by that at all. They're wonderful.
Anyway.
That's so fun.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that. So when did y'all end up at Sagemont?
Through the years, my father-in-law, Orville and Diane Langston, they were here, and I would come in, and he helped out with the sports programs, and I would come in and play sports. I don't know, Mike Davenport was here. Some of the older people will know Mike, and some of the others that played. And so we came to Quintanilla Feast. They used to have what they call Quintanilla Feast here, wild game dinners, things like that. Yep. And so we just never... we wanted our daughters to grow up with their peers and go to school, and then they invited a lot of their friends to church over the years. So we came back to Sagemont knowing the stability and the teaching is here. Sagemont is a haven for us. I really look at it like that. And back in around 2001, 2002, we decided, let's go back here. And so we came back. Got involved. I was an usher for a while, and then the coffee. I helped with the coffee for a considerable amount of time. What we used to have to do, we didn't have the iced coffee like they have now.
Right.
Where we used to have to grind the beans and then run the coffee back down to each wing. Yes. So we had to do that. That was kind of tough.
Yeah.
So done that, And then, hey, we decided to go into hang time, work with the children's ministry.
Love that.
Vacation Bible School, love that. Every year we just finished.
Just got done. It was so fun.
Yeah.
It was great.
And
what grade level did you work with?
Fifth grade.
Fifth grade. Okay.
Yeah. So,
super good.
My grandson, and we're going to camp next week.
Okay.
I have fifth grade boys.
Okay. That's so fun. I love that you love it so much. You have such a heart for it.
Yeah. Well, when I was that age, I was a mess.
Yeah.
And so I had those help me and correct me
great.
and so forth. Yeah.
I love it.
So anyway, that, and I've been on several mission trips here. We went with Jerry Squires to Iraq back in 2004.
Wow.
And actually got shot at when we were approaching the Babylonian ruins, and the Polish soldiers were there at the time, and all of a sudden the driver started speaking Arabic, and we looked up and you could see the water flying up. Wow. And so anyway, so we went in and told them we're just here to tour the ruins. And we were there also on a mission trip to pass out backpacks to the girls that were in school. And so that was a fun trip.
Yeah. I know you've been to Kenya.
Yeah, went to
got
Kenya.
To do that trip.
That was good.
So,
yeah, it was a fun trip. I'd like to go again if we can before we get too old. But
That's
you
awesome.
know, you come home, and when you're taking a hot shower, you're grateful because those kids got an outdoor shower, outdoor toilet, and they live in a small 10 by 10 room. Some of them don't have lights. And so we're grateful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went to Kenya, I came back and just sitting in our worship center in a cushy chair with air conditioning, with sound and lights and all of that, just going to people that walked 2 hours to sit in the dirt to hear about Jesus.
I know.
And we get to walk into this beautiful place and hear about him. And Sandy Baird, who's over New Hope Initiative in Kenya, always would say, don't feel guilty. Guilt doesn't help anybody. God put you where he put you, and he put them where he put them. And his plan is always perfect. But there is just the thankfulness.
Your heart.
Yeah. It's just, it does. If you've never been on a mission trip, go on a mission trip. It's so good to get out and just really turn your focus from in to out and looking. So
we went down to Hidalgo as another one. Border missions down there, and that was took a couple of our grandkids, took Mason and Maddie, and that was eye-opening for them also. And then we went with Israel on a trip with Stuart.
Okay, great.
And we helped some of the folks up in the Golan Heights. There was a widow lady who needed kind of a kitchen redone, shower redone. Her husband has passed away, and went with Moran. And of course, Moran gets to tell them why we come. We come because we want to share the Lord we love, Yeshua. And so we did that trip. Love to go back there again. We did some touring too.
Yeah, sure.
So one of my favorite places were the monument where David and Goliath fought, and went to the tomb and where Jesus was crucified, and it just brings everything alive.
Yeah.
It was
so
just
cool.
neat.
I love it. I love that y'all got to do that.
I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love your heart for serving, and not just serving in a specific area, but you just serve wherever the Lord tells you, and I love that you do that. So, and again, doing it with the pastor search team and serving the Lord and his people by being a part of that team. And one of the things I wanted to make sure everybody knows, y'all put together a survey from the pastor search team that was sent out to the church in the newsletter last week. So if you haven't seen it, last Wednesday, a church newsletter went out. The link to take that survey is in that newsletter. And tell us a little bit of just about why y'all wanted to do a survey for the church.
Well, it's going to give the church, the body, a chance to have a voice, and we can look at the survey. It asks particular age, what you feel is important for a pastor, and so we're excited about looking over those. At the last count, it seemed like we had close to 700 people had done them. Luke sends a note out every so often on it.
That's really good. And so, I know, it just went out this last Wednesday, and they want all of those done and turned in by Monday, June 19th. So you have about a week, depending on when you're watching this. Monday, June 19th is kind of the last day to take that survey and get it turned in.
Right.
Y'all, it's such a good way for every single person to get to have a voice into our next pastor. And so take that opportunity. I mean, I think it took me 10 minutes to take it. It's not lengthy. It's pick and choose kind of answers, but there's also a spot where you can just write some things that you may want to share. And so take time to go fill that out. And I so appreciate that the pastor search team purpose to put this together and say, we want to hear from the church.
Right.
So I love that. So y'all make sure you go find that, take it. If you can't find it, let somebody at the church know and we'll make sure that you get a hold of it so you can have that. So also kind of talk a little bit just about the pastor search team and just why you said yes and kind of even your prayer for this season as we're walking through looking for a pastor.
Well, thinking ahead, let's say, you know, when you have grandkids and you have children, you want to look ahead and what's it look like over the next, you know, my hopes and dreams would have someone here at least 20 years that my grandkids and your children could be a part and someone that could come in and encourage and shepherd the body here, connect with everybody from not just the pulpit, but also in the halls and you know, phone being open. And I know there's big responsibility there, but I believe it can work.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about that individual that's out there, individual, you know, in the book of Genesis, it talked about what was meant for evil, God meant it for good. And so we want to be about building trust back here at Sagemont, people being back apart, feeling apart. And that's why the survey is fill a survey, got to be in by the 19th. And it's important. Also, we have a booth set up over here that you can come ask questions, and we'll do our best to answer.
That's right.
All
On
the questions.
Sunday mornings, you can go by the ministry booth, and they have a couple of people from the pastor search team are sitting at that booth on Sunday mornings. If you have questions, if you want to let them know something you would love for them to know, you can definitely do that on Sunday mornings. Stop by there. And then also, if you have a resume, if you know somebody, you can take that to the
That's
booth,
correct.
I know, and turn that in, or you can email those in. They're open to all of those kinds of things.
We have paper forms that you can fill out also if you don't want to text or email. And we have them there, and we give them to you, and you can turn them in.
Okay, that's awesome.
So-
I love that y'all are being so purposeful.
Yeah.
To hear from everybody.
Include everybody.
Yes.
It's important.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, so I wanted to mention, too, some other things that we've been a part of. The white flag.
Yes.
I meet with men up here on Tuesday mornings.
Yes.
I'm almost one of the younger ones.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of wisdom in that room. We have a guy that comes in that actually was an astronaut and flew on one of the shuttles. We have a veteran from Vietnam that comes in, several servicemen. Yeah. James Myers, who we're praying for now, had triple bypass.
Did.
And so what I understand is recovering.
He's doing great, yeah.
So the other thing that Patty and I
hold on before you jump, because some people might be like, what the heck's a white flag?
Okay, all right, go ahead, tell them.
Well, that is a part of our Sagemont men's ministry. Jason Ryan is over our men's ministry. If you have questions, you can reach out to him. But white flag is small groups of men that meet all over the area and all different times of the day and the week, and they just do small group accountability, Bible study, praying together. Right. On our church website, you can find a list of all the available white flag groups, and you don't have to register. Just pick which one you want to go to and show up. Some of them meet it. Some are up here at the church. Some are in people's homes. Some are at coffee shops around the area, and you can just go and show up. Look for the guys sitting around with their Bibles. That's them, and you can go and jump in. And so it's a really cool thing that the guys started last year. And so I love that you're a part of one. They're great. It's really cool how they've kind of taken off. So.
6 a.m. Tuesday morning up here at the church, if you're interested. Right. But they're all over, coffee shops and
all over the place.
Just everything. Yeah,
I love that you mentioned that. It's a great additional resource the church has for our men.
Yeah,
it's really
we're praying
cool.
for each other.
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention was that Patty and I were involved in Before You Say I Do.
You know, I did Before You Say I Do.
Did you really?
In 1998. 25 years ago,
That's when it started.
25 years ago, this December, Emery and Susan were leading it. Before You Say I Do. Oh, yeah, it was the best.
Who was your coach couple? Do you remember? Was it Johnny and Marty? Ingval?
No. I'd have to go
Okay.
back and I still have my binder with all the stuff in it. I could tell you things that I remember, especially Susan. Some of the things, stuck in my brain of this is important in my marriage, and I still do it today.
Susan wrote the material.
Yeah, she's
smart.
She's amazing.
I know. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. So were y'all coach couples?
Yes, we were, and so we have
that.
actually sat with over 100 couples. During that, from like 2001 till just a few, right before COVID. And I was going to mention some of the couples, Gary and Carrie Gothard, Marcus and Crystal Gafford, the Holzbacks, Jeremy and Jessica. Kevin and Misty Niemeyer, Cameron and Sandy Haynes, and Stephen and Cynthia Valdez, and there's many more that are connected here at Sagemont.
Yeah. I saw whenever Cameron and Sandy got married, because Sandy does stuff with women's ministry, Cameron does stuff with men's ministry. They're a fabulous couple. In their pictures I saw on social media, you were in the picture with them, and I was like, how do they, what's the story there? And so I love that you do just really that before you say I do.
Yeah.
Counseling, talking with them about, hey,
I actually married him.
That's right. I knew there was something.
No,
that's which is so cool.
I know.
That's amazing.
Andy LeBlanc.
Yes.
Told me how to do it. I got online.
That's awesome.
I got a certificate.
There you go.
And I had my license.
Had you ever done that before?
No.
Will you do it again?
Oh, of course.
Okay, that's so fun. That's awesome. That is so neat that of all the people they could have picked
they asked
me to marry
me.
them, they asked you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was quite an honor.
That's a huge honor, yeah.
It really was.
That's so neat. I didn't know that part that you were a part of before I said I do, and still doing that.
Yeah, well, they haven't started back up. I wish they would, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but, it's a great thing.
It is
for all of our
young couples
getting married and stuff. Yeah, so good.
Yeah, you hear. So you know who? I don't know if the same teachers were like Bill and Lori Cole. They were teaching on conflict resolution, which was good. I love Bill and Lori both.
Yes.
Hear their story. Stuart also, and Mike Stuart and Mike Schumacher.
Yes.
They both would talk about, Stuart talked about relationships with he and his wife, and Mike talked about our differences, why we're so different, and how God made us to work with one another. So it's really getting in. And Brother John would come in on finances, and then finally they started with Dave Ramsey. Did
Financial
him for a while. But Brother John was good too.
Yes, so, I remember Brother John coming in and talking about finances when we were there.
And Susan and Emery, of course, would wind it up and talk about fair proof in your marriage. How to. They didn't call it was conflict. How do you
have conflict?
How do you fight? How do you work with one another?
Because you're going to.
Oh yeah.
So how do you do it well?
Yeah.
One thing we're doing this summer on Wednesday nights is we actually have a summer marriage series that we're doing on Wednesday nights, and the leadership team and their spouse each week a different leadership team member is coming in and doing something. So Stuart and Sue and Bill and Lori and Wes and Kelly and Mike. Just each week is a different leadership team member and their spouse that's coming in to just talk about marriage. And so that's on Wednesday nights. This summer, it's gonna be a really neat thing. You don't have to register. There's no cost. Just show up and you can join in that. And gosh, getting to hear from just years and years of
any age too.
Listen, anybody and everybody.
Can learn, right?
Yes, there's so much. It's gonna be it's a neat little thing that we're getting to do this summer to just offer some marriage stuff. So I love that you have a heart for that.
Yeah,
that's
awesome. Fun.
Yeah.
With couples.
Yes.
Couples, you always learn something.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so you know that we are here at Sagemont, we're really focusing on prayer and wanting to our people to just be purposeful, to be thinking about their prayer lives. And so tell me a little bit just about your personal prayer life. What has that looked like? What does it look like? How does it change through the seasons?
Well, so what I'm doing now, I'm early in the morning. So I'm up sometimes about 3:30 in the mornings, 4 o'clock, and I ride my bike.
You choose choose to get up?
Well, I work shift work, and
I was gonna say,
I just like getting up. It's quiet.
Yeah.
And I ride my bike and have the opportunity. Then my thoughts are going to what the Lord has for me. And then I wind up and I work out a little bit. I go to Planet Fitness and work out, not that much, and then come home. And Patty is not. I'm a morning person, but she's waking up. We have coffee together. We have Bible together. It's a Bible app that we work with different subjects. We pray together. And like I shared earlier, we do that throughout the day. And at night, the same thing. And we might stop during the day and look at, a different subject. And so that's how I work my prayer life now.
I love
that. Scripture teaches us to pray without ceasing all the time. And that's to be ever mindful. Family is on my mind all the time. Sagemont, our next pastor, the children. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
We want them to have a safe environment, and we do. I love our children.
Yeah.
We have a good time with them.
Yeah.
They're crazy sometimes, but they're fun.
But it's fun. It's fun. They make you laugh.
I know. Yeah.
They have fun. Thank you so much for coming in today and just letting us get to know you a little bit more. Y'all, if you see Martin around church, stop. He'll talk to you. He'll say what's going on. Hey, if you drop your kid off in his class, tell him thank you for serving with your kids, but also serving on the pastor's team. So
second grade through fourth grade.
See? 9:30, you know where he is.
Yeah.
There you go. So fun. Thank y'all for hanging out with us today at Table Talk. We hope you will join us next time. Martin, thank you so much.
Sure.
And we will see you next time.